You know what breaks my heart? I've helped over 200 Mornington families downsize, and last month I sat at a kitchen table with a 67-year-old couple who'd waited 3 years too long to sell. On paper, they'd done the right thing, paid off the home, stayed put, kept saying, "We're not quite ready yet." But by the time we went through their figures, that delay had cost them around $82,000 in pension payments, which they will never get back. And they're not the only ones. I can think of at least 3 couples in their mid-60s who lost money, lifestyle, or options by waiting, or by making one small decision at the wrong time. So in this video, I want to share 5 things I desperately wish that every one of my clients knew at 65 before they put that for sale board up. So you're not sitting across from someone like me in a few years saying, "We should have done this earlier." And just quietly, mistake number 4 is the one that catches out almost everyone, even the really organised people. Let's start with the first big trap, pension timing. If you're around 60 to 70, living in a larger home here on the Mornington Peninsula, maybe in Mornington, Mount Martha, Frankston South or Somerville, and you've started saying things like, "This place is getting a bit much. We should probably think about a unit one day," then this is for you. I'm not here to tell you what to do with your money or your life. I just want you to understand the consequences of the choices you're already thinking about. Oh, quick side note. If you're in that 65-ish window and you just want a simple roadmap, I've put together a free Downsizing at 65 checklist, which you can download, and the link's in the description below. And if you prefer to watch more stories, I've also got a video called Big House versus Small House, What's Right for You Now, which I'll link underneath to this one as well. Alright, let's get into the first mistake. Mistake number 1, pension timing errors. So mistake number 1 is selling at the wrong time for your pension and super. Here's what I see all the time. Diane and Peter decide, right, we'll sell in the spring, that's when the garden looks good. They focus on the house, the marketing, the cleanup, but they haven't spoken to Centrelink, a financial planner, or their accountant before signing a contract. So they sell, a large chunk of money hits their bank account, and suddenly their age pension is reassessed. Their assets look higher, their pension drops, and they realise they've just made their day-to-day more expensive than it needed to be. Sometimes, if they'd sold earlier or structured things differently, they could have used some of that equity to reduce other costs, maybe to put the money into super under the downsizer contribution rules, or simply enjoy a better cash flow earlier. But because no one looked at the timing, they accidentally tripped a wire. Now, I'm not giving you financial advice. That's what licensed financial advisors are for. But what I wish my clients knew is this. Before you sign a contract to sell, have a proper chat with your financial team about how that sale will affect your pension and benefits. Even if you think, well, we're self-funded, we'll be fine, it's still worth understanding what happens to your age pension or part pension, how your assets and income tests will be affected, and whether selling now versus in 18 months' time from now makes a meaningful difference. Because once that contract is signed and settlement goes through, there is no undo button. And here's what most people don't realise. By selling earlier, some couples actually buy themselves more years of financial breathing space, not less. Mistake number 2 is about emotional readiness. So many of my clients tell me, "We'll just know when it's time." It sounds comforting, but in reality, for a lot of people, time arrives as a crisis. A fall, a health scare, one of you stops driving, or you suddenly can't keep up with the garden and the stairs and the maintenance. And then the conversation shifts from, "We'd like to move closer to the grandkids," to, "We have to be out of here in the next few months." And that's when you start selling in a rush, accepting offers you might have negotiated harder on, and taking whatever property you can get, not the one that truly suits you. Whereas the couples who handle this best usually start talking planning early, often around 60, 65, and even if they don't move for another couple of years. They walk through the retirement villages, Inspect single level units in Mornington or Mount Martha and slowly get comfortable with the idea of a different lifestyle. They start decluttering one cupboard at a time rather than trying to do 25 years of life in 3 weeks before settlement. What I wish my clients knew is that you don't have to feel 100% ready to start planning. You just have to admit, this house might not suit us in 5 years' time from now. We'd rather choose a move on our terms than wait for a crisis. And here's what most people don't realise. The earlier you start emotionally preparing, the more likely you are to make a calm, confident decision instead of a rushed, stressful one. Mistake number 3 is trying to perfectly time the property market. I hear this a lot. We'll wait until the prices go up a bit more. We'll sell when the market cools down. The problem is, when you're selling and buying in the same market, you're actually playing both sides of that equation. Let's just say your Mornington home is worth around $1.4 million, and the type of unit you want is around $900,000. If the market rises 10% while you're waiting, your house might go up from $1.4 million to $1.54 million. But that $900,000 unit might go up to $990,000. That gap between what you sell and what you buy has just widened. On the other hand, if the market softens a little, you might get slightly less for your home, but you may also pay less for the next place. For most downsizers, the biggest risk isn't, did we squeeze every last dollar out of the market? It's, did we end up where we wanted to live? Is this home going to work for us at 75, 80, 85? Do we have enough left over for the lifestyle we want? I'm not saying ignore the market. Of course we want to sell well. We look at recent sales, buyer demand, and what's happening specifically in suburbs like Mornington, Mount Martha, Somerville. But I wish my clients knew this. It's usually better to pick your timing around your life, your health, and your goals, and then work with the market as best we can within that window. And here's what most people don't realise. The perfect market often shows up after the people who waited are too tired, too stressed, or too unwell to actually enjoy the result. All right, let's talk about mistake number 4, because this is the big one. Most people look at downsizing like this. We'll sell for X and we'll buy for Y and we'll have Z left over. And on the back of an envelope, that looks great. But they forget to factor in the real cost of downsizing, which often includes repairs and touch-ups to get the house sale ready. Think cracks, painting, gardens, small fixes. Styling or presentation costs, even if it's just a partial styling. Marketing and agent fees, conveyancing and legal fees, building and pest inspections. Removalists, sometimes more than one if there's a gap. Storage if you need to bridge between homes. Connection fees for power, internet, etc. Stamp duty or other buying costs on the next place, depending on what you're buying and if you have any concessions. By the time you add all of that up, it's not a zero-line item. It can easily be tens of thousands of dollars. Now, those costs might still be absolutely worth it for the lifestyle you're moving into. Closer to family, single level, low maintenance. But I wish my clients knew up front so they can plan properly. This is why when I sit with couples like Diane and Peter, I often say, let's estimate the true cost of moving, not just the difference between the sale price and the purchase price. We build a simple breakdown: the expected sale range, the likely purchase range, moving and transaction costs, and what is realistically left over at the end. It's rarely perfect to the dollar, but it's honest. And when you do that early, you can decide, do we need to adjust our expectations on the next home? Do we need more time to declutter or improve this one? And do we need advice about what to do with the leftover funds? And here's what most people don't realise. The couples who budget for the full cost of downsizing tend to feel far more relaxed and confident because the surprises are smaller. And they know they can actually afford the move that they're about to make. Mistake number 5 is choosing the wrong property type for the next chapter of your life. I see this when people fall in love with a beautiful townhouse with lots of stairs, an apartment up the hill with a steep driveway, gorgeous home, but it's miles from the shops, doctors or their family, or a complex with a body corporate that they haven't really understood. It might feel fine at 65, but will it work at 75 or 80? I'm not here to tell you that you have to live in a certain kind of property. Some people love retirement villages. Others want a small standalone unit. Others like apartments. What I wish my clients knew is this. When you're choosing your next home, ask questions like, can we live on one level most of the time? If one of us stops driving, can we still get to the shops, doctors and family easily? What are the ongoing fees here? Body corporate, rates, maintenance. If our health changes, will this layout still feel safe and manageable? Because the really heartbreaking calls I get are from people a few years down the track saying, we love the area, but this place is just too hard now. And here's what most people don't realise. You don't have to predict everything, but if you build in a little bit of future proofing, you're far less likely to be forced to move again when you don't want to. If you're around 65 and thinking about downsizing, here's a simple action checklist I wish every client followed. 1. Have the 5-year chat. Ask yourselves, will this house work for us 5 years from now? 2. Speak to your financial team before you sell. Talk to Centrelink, your advisor or accountant about how a sale would affect your pension, super and tax. 3. Get a realistic cost estimate, not just sales minus purchase. Include moving, fees and setup costs. 4. Walk through your ideal areas now. Visit Mornington, Mount Martha, Somerville, wherever you want to be. Look at units, villas, retirement villages. Get a feel for what you actually like. 5. Start decluttering slowly, one cupboard at a time, long before you put your home on the market. 6. Think 10 to 15 years ahead when choosing the next place. Check the stairs, slopes, driveway access, services, and ongoing fees. And 7. Have an honest conversation with a local agent you trust, not just about price, but about timing, strategy, and what's realistic for your situation. If you'd like help thinking this through, I'll leave a link below to that free Downsizing at 65 checklist so you can map out your own next steps in your own time. And if you're wrestling with the big house versus small house question, make sure you watch the video I've linked below as well. It dives deeper into that decision and might help you see your options more clearly. You don't have to get this perfect. You just have to give yourself enough time and information to make a decision you'll be happy with at 65 and still happy with at 75. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.